Richard of Gloucester, later King Richard III, was the youngest surviving son of Richard, Duke of York, and brother of King Edward IV. Arguably the most fascinating character in Henry VI Part 3, Richard is the great malevolent force at the center of the Wars of the Roses. As the alliances between kings, subjects, families, and brothers dissolve and die, Richard becomes more and more prominent until finally, after he murders King Henry, he gleefully declares, "I am myself alone." Richard became Duke of Gloucester when he was 7 years old. He was a skilled warrior and fought to put his father, and later his brother, on the throne of England. After they both died, though, Richard usurped the crown from Edward's son, as Shakespeare dramatizes in Richard III. Fact versus fiction. Shakespeare portrays Richard as a deformed, maniacal killer. He drew this image of Richard from the work The History of Richard III by Sir Thomas More, who emphasized Richard's deformity as a sign of his evil nature. Richard, the third son of whom we now entreat, was little of stature, ill-featured of limbs, crook-backed, his left shoulder much higher than his right, hard-favored of visage. He was malicious, wrathful, envious, and from afore his birth ever froward. Medieval and Elizabethan peoples considered deformity a sign of evil, so More's account of Richard's body establishes him as a villain. For this reason, Shakespeare knew that seeing Richard's deformity on stage would also mark Richard as evil for his audience. Shakespeare gives Richard a long and spectacular soliloquy in Act 3, Scene 2, where he declares his evil lust for power is a direct result of being deformed. Then, "Since this world affords no joy to me, I'll make my heaven to dream upon the crown, and whiles I live to account this world but hell, until my misshaped trunk that bears this head be round and paled with the glorious crown." Richard's frank commitment to villainy is what makes him fascinating to watch, which is why the part has been played by some of the greatest actors of all time.